Make Brexit work. Well, that's, an oxymoron if I ever did hear one. Well, yeah, please boot the old like button. But you might not want to. No. I'll share with you my thoughts on the Brexit. Now, this week there is a summit, an investment summit for the United Kingdom where Keir Starmer would like to tease investors into investing into the United Kingdom. Well, why wouldn't they? When they've got asset holding companies and all that. Well, they pay no tax on their profits from their assets. You know how it is. But for you, that's a different kettle of fish. You've got to pay your taxes, but not for foreign investors. No. But why would any company really, let's be honest about it, want to set up in a country that has pretty much isolated itself from a very large and very near trading bloc, the European Union? It has to be said. When they could operate within that bloc. Once before, the UK was widely used as, a stepping stone to the EU. It was easier for companies in the United States, English-speaking companies, to negotiate with English-speaking nationals of the United Kingdom and get their products into the EU. That's one reason, I suppose. Maybe there's preferential tax systems, etc. in the UK, like I mentioned a moment ago. Maybe it's easier to offshore your profits in the Cayman Islands. Or maybe, like the oligarchs, you can turn London into Londongrad. You know, it's like a laundromat, isn't it? You know how it is. Well, Keir Starmer, he pushed back, he did. Then PMQs. Kind of. Well, he slipped a bit. Because he complained about the Brexit. The Tory Brexit. But yet he's carrying on pushing it through. Carrying on with that strapline. Yeah, another 3-word slogan. Make Brexit work. Like I say, that's an oxymoron. It's moronic. It's an idiocy. It's nuts. It's crazy. There is no making Brexit work. I know I'll get criticised for that. Stop being so negative. Tell us what the options are. How can we make things better? I'm still looking how we can improve things outside of the European Union. And don't try and tell me they're going to trade deals with all these other countries around the world as though it's going to be easy. Trading with countries miles and miles away. Well, it's not, is it? No. For starters, it's not particularly environmental. No. It's like some crazy mad person installing a pellet burner because they think it's more environmental in the United Kingdom. But you start importing your pellets from Canada, well then it's not, is it? Oh, crikey, Arlene Foster, what a fool she was. Well, actually, to be fair, the pellet burner is very good here in France and in Germany. We make our own pellets here. They're native pellets for our pellet burners to keep us warm. And luckily they're cheap again. Well, Brexit hasn't been this sudden shock, this sudden blow to the economy. Not as though you'd notice. Yes, it was a sudden blow to those who want to travel the EU. And make use of their freedom of move. Oh, actually, no, they haven't got it anymore. No, it's 19 every 180 days, isn't it? Oh, dear. But you see, on the ground, for businesses, and not just businesses, but systems that allow businesses to function, like the CE mark and like the EU reach, we're pushed back against that. They want to replace it with the UK reach. What happened to that? Nothing. And then we had the UK CA mark. Yes, they're sticking these stickers on absolutely everything regarding UK CA mark. For things that are, for the UK market. No good anywhere else. No one else recognises it. But we still have to recognise the CE mark because we don't have any other option. Like our foodstuffs coming into the UK because we have no food security. We used to be able to trade with these countries freely. In some cases, preferential treatment. Not anymore outside of the European Union. So on the ground, it's difficult. It's difficult for companies, industry, to be able to function as they did once before. Some would say it's almost impossible. Some EU businesses say, well, that ain't worth the candle. Do we? No. So, Brexit. Border taxes means that importing of agricultural products, for instance, chemicals, etc., comes with very steep costs. If that weren't bad enough, if they only wanted, say, one sack of nitrogen fertiliser, argument's sake, and it was on the mixed pallet, no one will send it to you. No, you have to buy the whole pallet. So mixed pallets are pretty much a no-no now. Now, navigating all these VAT rules, not for one bloc, as in the European Union. No, we've got to navigate it now for all the 27 other member states. Well, I say other. It'd be another if we were still in, but we're not. No. So it's 27 other member states all got their own systems, like here in France, it's a TVA. Sovereignty and all that, you see, but apparently there's no sovereignty in the EU. That's what they like to tell you. Well, each country has its own tax rules. Each country has its own habitation rules. Even under the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. Each country has its own system. Because they've got sovereignty. Well, the previous government, the Tory government, blimey, pretty much has devastated the car and the steel industries over the years. Well, you saw what they did with the coal industry. Maybe that was a good thing, considering global warming. But now we're importing steel from further afield to build cars and what have you. We can't really make the components now with basically assembly plants in the UK. They won't be there for much longer. No. These companies will realise it isn't worth the light as well. It's quite sad to see, really. No, the airports haven't bounced back, no. In fact, they've had to increase the fees. Each airport in the UK has started, adding airport fees. To be fair, they've started adding airport fees in the EU as well, to be fair. People are pushing back against that then, because they can't afford to fly, but the UK's got another burden coming up on them relatively soon. Should be 2025. The cost of the ETIAS. It's not a visa, it's just, not even a permit really, it's just saying, I'm travelling. I said, hey, I'm here, or I'm about to be. You see, the United Kingdom does have rights to travel in the EU, but only for 19 every 180 days. And each flight has to be registered. There's none of this flirting about, or being diverted to other airports, which some people have been caught short on that. No. Because you're not registered to fly to other airports from within the EU. Well, you can't actually within France anyway, to be fair. They don't do internal flights anymore. Well, Brexit has prevented these companies bouncing back from the pandemic. They really have. Unless you're obviously a pharmaceutical company, they've made shitloads of money. Unless you're the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, of the previous government, they make shitloads of money. Boris Johnson taking his £1 million bungs. Yes, he put it in the register of interests. But still, I wonder what these people got in return. Well, then you got Erasmus and Horizon, and you got the fact we're, pushed back from the satellite systems. We have no satellite systems of our own or any real access. The EU's got one now. The UK helped fund it by £9 billion. The United States got theirs, Russia's got theirs. Elon Musk has got his Starlink for the internet. He reckons he's going to be able to quadruple its power, or 10 times or something its power very soon. While he's launching his little rockets into space, little rocket man. crazy individual with his ketamine and the stupid cars that can't be imported into the EU because they don't pass any safety standards, because all the sharp corners on these cars. No crash zones, no nothing. They're just horrendous vehicles. Who would really want to drive them? I know Jeremy Clarkson said he wouldn't want to be hit by one. Well, despite all of this, the argument isn't about rejoining the European Union. It's not. It's about how we navigate it. It's how we mitigate the damage. But whatever we do, we will never be able to be on a level playing field again. On an even on an even keel with the EU. Trading on he said evil, oh crikey, on even terms with the European Union. It's not going to happen, is it? And it's not even up to Britain. No. Because we no longer have a say, no longer have a seat at the table. We have no say over the rules that are imposed upon us if we want to trade with the EU. But it gets worse than that. Being outside of the European Union is forcing us to accept European Union rules, even though it's not to do with actually trading with the European Union. It's because we want to trade with the rest of the world who also accept those rules. Now the United Kingdom looks like it's going to have to accept the fact that the EU has imposed one charging system, the USB-C. For instance, you probably noticed if you've got an Apple phone of late, you know it's got a USB-C port instead of the Apple Fire thingamajig, what they call it. Fire port, I don't know. Lightning port. Well, the UK is following suit on that one. So we've become a follower, not a leader. We're no longer a leader. No. Because we're outside of the club. Not just outside the club. We're outside of all the trading norms. Now, there's countries in the EU. There's countries outside the EU who's looking at taking the United Kingdom to court for breaches of the World Trade Organisation rules. If you want to trade with WTO, the World Trade Organisation, you have to, trade on even terms. You can't be selling stuff to one country for less than you are to another country. It's against WTO rules. We didn't have that in the EU. We could trade, I don't know, we could put prices up for Germany, for instance, and sell them cheaper to France. Not in the WTO, no. So what a mess. Now, meanwhile, businesses are having to process shitloads of paperwork at a cost with no benefit at all. In fact, it's a negative. And just the cost is the loss of business. Because other businesses don't necessarily, that we would be trading with, want to deal with all the added burden of all the paperwork, the red tape. Companies are having to hire teams of people to just trade, to carry on trading with the EU. Small businesses who export are having to employ more staff and still receive less profit. That's a recipe for disaster. It really is. It's also a recipe for higher prices in the United Kingdom. But, we have our sovereignty. We do what we like now, but we can't. No matter what flippin' Nigel Farage might tell you, or what Boris Johnson might be spouting at the moment, the bollocks, like he does. None of that stuff is true. But they can say what they like, you see. Because no one told them to account. A bit like Brexit, you see. Those who advocate for Brexit didn't think it was actually ever going to happen. Boris Johnson himself had 2 letters, or 2 articles. If we stayed or if we left. So he didn't really believe. Nigel Farage didn't think he packed in early, he did. Because he thought it was going to go the wrong way for him on the night. But no, he got his Brexit. And nobody knew how to navigate it, but they could say what they like, knowing full well they knew that they would not be the ones who's going to have to navigate it. Then Boris Johnson thought he could take it on, yeah. And he won that majority of 80-seat majority in 2019. Made a shit job even shittier. Well, he's not paying the price, is he? No, he might not be Prime Minister anymore. But he's not paying the price. He's making shitloads of flipping money. Swanning around with his Russian friends. Well, we should have a call for honesty. And honesty in politics from all those who still claim Brexit has benefits. Even Keir Starmer's been saying make use of the benefits of Brexit. Navigating the Brexit. Make Brexit work. That's not honesty, that is just a lie. A blatant lie. And this upcoming summer, yeah, I'm sure they'll bring in some investors from abroad. Some people who want to, suck the blood out of the United Kingdom and export it into their overseas bank accounts. And many businesses say they'd invest more. And they would, be happier to spend more money, or in the United Kingdom invest more money, what have you, if we were still in the European Union. Aligned with the regulations of the EU if we're outside, which we are outside the European Union. But we're not. I've said this before, I've advocated this before, we need closer alignment with the EU. We just do. But while we have this rhetoric of red lines, that is never going to happen. It's just an impossibility. A legal impossibility. Unless things, are changed legally, I suppose. Can't see it, though. Any changes that are made for the United Kingdom would be changes made for the rest of the bloc. What a mess. So any decision to, deviate really should be subject to Parliament. But I bet that'll slip through. I really do. It's a conflict of our interests. It really is. Well, this isn't just, how do I put it? An absolute oxymoron. The idea that we can actually have any beneficial treatment while outside of the bloc. At least striving for close alignment, even if we don't get there, at least it's a direction. We're moving and not stationary. Show some kind of desire to have some closer alignment with the European Union instead of pushing back all the time. Well, then maybe our relationship will be warmer. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be much of the same under Keir Starmer. Sweet words mean nothing. Absolutely nothing without action. It really doesn't. Just look at my dog down there. Funny little boy. Got that. Anyway, if we could manage to get some kind of closer alignment, well then that would be a start, wouldn't it? Such as a deal on food safety, phytosanitary and what have you. That would make a massive difference. And for those who want to travel with their dogs, veterinary and, pet passports and stuff like that. That would make life a lot easier. Freedom of movement for under 30s, So bands could travel again, and tour, and explore. You know? Things that we were able to do when we were younger. Options. I know it's been taken away from us now, those of us who are over that age, but, you know, the offer was there. It was made to us from the EU. But Keir Starmer said no, it's against our, well, red lines regarding freedom of movement. But rejoining the Pan-European Convention, would that simplify trade across the continent? Would it? Maybe. Well, I just have my doubts, and trying to pursue Brexit as it is and just carrying on the way that we are, the fantasy of post-Brexit Britain being this land of fruit and honey. Blimey. That's a serious case of Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah, some form of cognitive dissonance. Head in the sand, you could say. While we're rapidly becoming, I suppose, the sort of Singapore of Europe. And collapsed when confronted with, modern supply chains. Well, this investment summit, it could reap some reward, but it's not going to be as fruitful as he hoped. Push back against some of our potentially biggest investors, such as Elon Musk, no matter how much I hate him, you know. Who are we going to trade with? Who's really going to want to invest in the UK unless they feel they can rape it? Just like England's doing with Scotland. That's how I feel. Feels a bit negative, doesn't it? It feels a bit, quite got to be bright and shiny about everything. But while we've got a government that doesn't actually want to actually do anything about this situation, or just have, words that mean absolutely nothing, we ain't going to get any, benefits of Brexit. We've got to do anyway, but we've got to get closer alignment. We're not going to be able to mitigate Brexit. We're going to have to try and trade further afield. Which is absolutely it's mad. And while you're actually trying to make changes in your life, so you're creating less carbon dioxide, smaller footprint and all that, they're going to be shipping more stuff from abroad. They will be shipping more stuff over there. Using bunker fuel or what have you. Goods taking longer than they need to. We'll have flowers rotting in the ports, waiting to be, go through passport checks. Meat stuff's coming in from Australia and New Zealand. And they'll say they're fresh, but no, they're part frozen when they travel. Well, you don't know what's going on with this stuff, do we? We can barely check our own borders to keep our people safe. And in fact, we haven't been. What the hell are we going to do? You tell me. Please leave in the comments down below. Because I really do not know. All these people are telling me, well, we just got to get Labour in. Got to get Labour in just so we can then, have a better relationship with the EU. Well, I am truly disappointed. Truly disappointed. I knew there was going to be no rejoining. I get that we're joining. We're so far away from that is just unreal. But actually, to have a better relationship, a relationship of understanding and trust, honesty, that'd go a long way. Anyway, you tell me. Please leave it in the comments down below. I know it was a bit of a whingy video about the Brexit and stuff like that, but it's been driving me absolutely mad. So I keep looking down there, not my son, he's like my little son, my little Sebastian, he's got his legs up in the air and his head flopped all back and that, and he's like, sort of breathing, like every time he breathes out, it's going, it's really distracting. And I've got my little Wally dog staying there in his basket. He is snoring. Anyway. If you want to support the channel, you can do that on Patreon or buy us a coffee, and the link's down below, and it is very much appreciated. But also, we're doing rewilding here in France, where we're planting 1,000 trees and 2 hectares of land. If you'll be a part of that, there's a link down below. Just follow that and what have you, follow instructions, what have you. And if you want to make a contribution, we'll plant a tree on your behalf, and I'll make a sign to go with the tree with your name on, or maybe memory of a loved one, what have you. It could be a present, I suppose, for Christmas. But also, we're making bat boxes, bat roosts, bird houses, etc., etc., etc. Animal habitats as well. So anyway, if you'll be part of that, there's a link down below. But please comment down below. Tell me what you think, because I do actually read the comments. But you probably already know. Anyway, for now, toodaloo.